Welcome to this week's session with Putnam County District Library Guiding Ohio Online Grant. We're going to take a look at the Google tool and look at a calendar and how we go about creating it and adding events and even sharing that information out. So when you go to your Google account and you go to your nine dots in your right-hand corner here, we're going to go down to what looks like and says the word calendar. It always has that number 31 there in the middle. We click on that and we're going to get a Google Calendar that's going to come up. And the Google Calendar then, when it wants to open web calendar links, etc., I'm going to block that at this point. But I've got my calendar here in front of me. And what you're going to see is on the left-hand side, you're going to see a calendar that's going to show the whole month that you're currently in. You're going to see the information then that is the calendar itself, and I'm going to see other calendars here listed along the side that I might have. To add an event to my calendar, I'm simply going to click on the day. The date that is active, the current date is always going to have the circle here in it. And then, so I'm just going to say, okay, on the 27th, I'm going to click on that. I'd like to add a date, an event at that time. So I am going to simply say at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to click there at 1 o'clock and I'm going to say lunch. And then notice here, I can call it as an event. I can make it a task if I might want, or I can even do an appointment schedule here. I can change my time. The time always defaults to an hour. I can change that information. I've got the date here and I can change the time. The time does go in increments of 15 minutes. And like I said, I can make it say, no, I want my lunch from 12:30 and I'm going to take a long lunch. So I'm going to make it till 2 that day. If I want an event that actually goes all day, I would click on all day. Notice here, I've got this marked, it's marked out here on the calendar here in the background. If I change that to all day, you're going to see it go across the top is what the change is going to be. I can also make it so that an event repeats. So let's say every day I want that. Maybe I only want it on Wednesdays, or as you can tell, you see here, you can break it out. The other thing you can do is, let's say I want to make it custom. And if I do a custom, then I can change it and I could have it say, well, I want us to repeat on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. As well as I can make it so that maybe I want to start it on the 27th so I'm going to click here and I'm going to say, yep, I want this event, excuse me, I'm going to go back here. I want it to start on the 27th and I want it to end after, let's say maybe 8 weeks, 8 occurrences or something. So in other words, it's going to repeat on every Wednesday for 8 weeks. And then I would say done. And now I would have that across my calendar. Now I've got here, the other things to add is I can add a guest if I would choose to. I can also make it with a Google Meet and have an actual conference. I can set my location. If I say I want to add a location, let's say that I want to add this location and I'm going to put in, say I'm going to put in Kalida. And now notice I've got the location. And if I go out here to the side, I've got this map that'll then pop up. So I could pick my location. If I had a specific address in there, it's going to go to that address and show that. I can add descriptions. If I would have any information I'd want to add, maybe I have a link for some reason. I want to link, maybe I'm going to a restaurant and I want to put the link to the website of the restaurant so that I would have the menu. And then the other thing is I can change this color. So say I want to make it that anytime I'm doing a certain type of event that I'm putting on my calendar, let's say if it's of a personal nature, maybe I want it to be blue. If it has something to do with work, maybe I want it to be orange, and so forth. And I could add those in. The last thing that I was going to show here is if you go to add a notification, when you go to add a notification, you can actually set the time in terms of when you would like to be notified as a reminder of your event that is coming up. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say save, and I've got this event scheduled. And now we looked at this and we were looking at this. I'm going to say dismiss this. We were looking at this and it's got the view of just the single day. Notice across the top here, I can click on day. I could change it to a week. I could change it to a month. And remember, I made this event so that it would happen every Wednesday for 8 weeks, basically. So if I click through my calendar, you'll see it goes till December 15th in terms of when I have that scheduled. The other thing that you might want to do with a calendar is, notice I talked about how I have several calendars here. So I can go over here and I can actually add other calendars. So maybe I want to have one calendar for my personal business in terms of appointments and maybe my activities at home, if I have my own children events or whatever, and I want to have a calendar for that, and I want that separate from a work calendar. So what I would do is I could go over here to other calendars, and I'm going to say add the plus sign. I'm going to create a new calendar. And when I create this calendar, I would title this calendar. So I'm going to title this calendar work. I could give it a description or more, and then I can say create calendar. And when I do that, then I'm now going to have another calendar that shows up over here. And notice I've got these calendars. They show up with different colors to kind of, and I could actually, now notice out here to the side, I have this hide from calendar list. So I can turn that on and off then if I don't want to see that. So I've got that calendar created. So now I'm just going to go back here real quick, go out of my settings. And now you'll see I have this work calendar. So if I go to my work calendar, I'm going to, let's do this. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to add an event here. And I'm going to say, this time I'm going to say, whatever. Let's just say doctor. Like we have a doctor appointment or something. Notice here's my calendar. I've got my colors that I can make my different calendars. And I'm going to click here. I'm going to make this a tangerine color. And I'm going to hit save. So now I've got a calendar here with a doctor's appointment that's obviously of a different color. And I've got this one. Now, if I go over here, notice I'm going to click here on work. I'm going to turn that off. So I'm going to go out here. I'm going to turn all of these off for a minute. If I turn these all off, notice they go away. Now, it might have been confusing because when I added the work, I changed the color. See, it doesn't come up because I created that calendar under my Shelley calendar. I did not create it under my work calendar, even though this coloring system has nothing to do with what I did over here. So I'm going to turn this one off. And I'm going to add now an event. And let's add it here. And again, let's this time let's say dentist. And I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to, well, before I'm going to do that, yeah, I'm going to make this, notice I'm making these, right now I'm making them an all day event. I'm going to change this, make it so it's a timed. So I'm going to add a time to it. And I'm going to say it's at 9. I'm going to make, that's not realistic to make a dentist appointment at 9 o'clock at night, I guess. Let's make it so that it's at 10:15. And we're going to say save. So now I have a dentist appointment. Notice my other stuff's still not showing up. I'm going to click here back on Shelley. Now I have my lunch appointments and I have my doctor's appointment. And then, and notice the difference here too. I've got, these are solid lines going across because they're all day events. And then this has the dot with the information because it is a certain time of day. I'm going to turn off work here for a minute, and you're going to see that goes away because that information was placed onto my work calendar. The other thing that I can do, remember I talked about how if I say I wanted to have a work calendar versus I wanted to have um, a personal calendar. If I go to my work calendar here out to the side, if I click on my three dots, here I have the option to go in here and I can go to my settings and sharing. And at this point, I could go in and actually make this calendar so that it is, and add an invitation to this calendar so that I could share this calendar out with other people that I might work with. The other thing that you can do, which is what you see many times, like when you're looking on web pages and maybe with schools or different businesses, they will make their calendar public and they might put that calendar on their website. And then that is what you're seeing, is you're seeing that. And the other thing you can do is if you don't want to do the invitation, you can get a shareable link. And when you click on that, it's going to come up with this nice long link here that you can copy, and then you could send that out to whoever you might want to share your calendar with. So that is Google Calendars, and I hope you found this information helpful, and we look forward to seeing you next week.